Phelps here. I'm wearing a hat, and today we're going to be taking a look at S-Layer. We're going to be diving into the envelope as well as the external page. These are the last controls in this series. After this, you know what every single button and knob does. You've messed with it, ideally, and played around with it. So pretty cool. So let's go ahead and jump to it. So we have our attack, hold, decay, sustain, release. You see we're able to adjust values for this. This is just your general envelope. I cover this in Sound Synth Basics if you're unfamiliar with it. What's unique about this envelope, though, obviously if we have like an attack, that's what's unique about it is we have a loop setting is what I was going to say. Let's solo the top layer, and okay, cool. Let's go to the envelope and look at this top layer. So we have our attack, it changes our attack. So low attack, and this is, you can see it takes a while to get loud, just like you would expect. We have a hold value, which in this case, it's a one-shot sample. So a lot of good that does for us. And we also have a decay, which is a decay. It's just like you would expect. And then we have a sustain, and we have a release. Now, our release, of course, is when you let go of the key, how does it fade out? And then we also have a loop setting. What will happen is it will loop, and right now it'll loop, but it'll get softer as we go, which is a result of our really long decay. But let's say that we don't want it to get softer. If you turn up your sustain value, it will sustain at that level, and it would just loop. It'll just keep looping. So that's what the loop does. A very interesting sort of setting. And at least I think it's quite interesting. That's what that is, though. It's really simple. It's just a envelope. This is, yeah. If you come into, whoops, didn't mean to click that. Let's go ahead and open up a 3 OSX, a 3 oscillator. It's just like this, you know, envelope. There you go. We have our attack, how fast it gets loud, its hold value, its sustain value. So when you're holding down the note, what is the volume that it stays at while you're holding down the note? And then we have our release. So when we let go of the key, does it fade out or does it not fade out? So that's pretty straightforward. Let's go ahead and hop over. So that's, again, why the sustain affects the loop like it does. Let's hop over to the external. So the external, we have two options at the top. These are more significant than anything in here, I feel like. And what they are is stereo. So right now I have it configured. Let's send it to a mixer track. Now I have it configured so that it will send a stereo output. And let's turn off solo. It's going to mute. So we have all these samples going on, right? And let's just go. And to external, it's stereo. It's coming out here. We've already talked about the insert and send and all that other stuff. So, okay, cool. What if we want it to pop out so that we can do a whole bunch of processing to our signal with our own effects? Well, to do that, you simply select multi-out. Right now, though, it's not going to work yet because we haven't configured Reaktor with FL Studio, right? It has to talk to FL to tell it that it's going to do this. Also, if you choose multi-out instead of stereo, your insert effects will not work. So let's go to multi-out and go to your cog at the top, processing, auto map outputs, back to your thing. If that was kind of fast, we'll do it one more time. This is for FL. You click the cog, go to processing, hit auto map outputs, and then you're done. So now if we play it, we see there are our samples being split. And okay, so there's one other setting. Well, that's that setting. So very cool. You can do stuff to each individual sample. And then if we come over here, we have our source. We have all these different sources, right? We have these definite destinations. We have 4 of them. And so we could select a modulation source from our sequencers, right? So we have sequencers A, B, C, D. And we can select a source. And these are your various source outputs. So you can send a MIDI CC, a MIDI note. And you can set minimum and maximum, which is interesting. So I don't mess with this like ever really because I just don't have a need for this right now. And what it is I can send, let's say that for whatever reason, I want to control another synth in FL with S-Layer. Like that's, maybe I'm doing a live rig and it'd be really nice to have this an auto mapped thing already. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, oh, I want A. I want A to modulate let's make it play a note. So we're going to grab an FM8 because that's what I've been grabbing. And what we're going to do is we're going to make FM8 listen for external data and external MIDI data. So we're going to say, oh, FM8, listen on port 1. So what I did was I opened up FM8 or another third-party synth. You go to the little cog icon and put input port 1. Okay, cool. So it's listening on input port 1. We need to send that information from reactor, specifically S-layer, to FM8. So we're going to go to its cog icon and go to settings, and we're going to say, oh, output data on port 1. Now, this is sending out on 1, and this is listening on 1. So we're good there. They're talking to each other. What we need now is we need to tell modulation A to send out a MIDI note, and we say, let it send out a MIDI note. Let's make it send out 42. That's a low note. And so if I play a note now in S-layer, we will see it play a key inside of FM8. And you can see there it is. And it's flipping up and down like a mad thing because, yep, isn't that just the best? It's flipping up and down because right now it's like value, 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 value of that nature. And also it reads out the last value continuously. So that was, as an external thing, this doesn't make a whole lot of sense. As a thing within S-layer, it makes perfect sense. So that's what you can do though there. And I'll let you come up with your own crazy configurations of what you want to do there. List what you would use it for. And then maybe I'll have a better use for it. But right now, I just don't use it. But it's really, I find it really cool that they included this just as an idea. It's like, oh, well, what could I do with this? Sort of pushing the creative bounds of where you do something completely unnecessary just because you could. If you have any questions, let me know. This is S-layer. I mean, you've got it. We've covered everything in it. Subscribe and have a blessed day.